Hi, we're Placebo, and you're watching the Kerrang podcast. Lucky you.
Hello, Steve and Brian, Stefan. How are you doing today?
Not bad, thank you.
Cool.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. So, can you tell us about your sixth studio album, Battle for the Sun?
Oh, what do you want to know?
I'd like to know what it was like working with David Bottrell.
Well, you know, it was actually quite wonderful, and it was really, I think, the most pleasurable and kind of least fraught recording experience that we've had. You can tell that David Bottrell's had a great deal of experience working with some kind of crazy people, because his people skills are just amazing.
Right.
You know, he really kind of understands the psychology of of musicians in a studio. I think a lot of producers, you know, they don't really have such great people skills because they spend a lot of time by themselves working with machines, you know, kind of thing. So they don't really. Sometimes it's difficult for them to relate to another human. But no, not David at all. But he's responsible for a lot of the complexity of the record in terms of arrangement, because we did something with him that we've never done before, which was spend a long period of time before going to the studio working on pre-production. So what he did is that he came over from Toronto, and we'd play in the songs in the rehearsal space, and he basically would sort of deconstruct our songs and then kind of put them back together and change a lot to kind of make them more exciting and a bit less repetitive and a bit less sort of A, B, C in terms of structure. So he really sort of breeds kind of sophistication and complexity into the songs themselves. And then being in the studio, it was a really kind of convivial atmosphere. And what was really great about him is that he made you feel like everything that you were doing was worthwhile, even if it was wrong or a mistake, or even if it wasn't used. You know, no kind of potential avenue was left kind of unexplored. Very easygoing, very easy to talk to, very kind of relatable as a human being.
Yeah.
So it was really quite fantastic. I think, you know, the album's a little bit more upbeat because for a couple of reasons. First of all, I think looking back on Meds, Steph and I felt that it was quite a somber record, you know, quite very dark and quite claustrophobic in atmosphere, and that there wasn't a great deal of hope there. So we kind of wanted to do something that had a little bit more color to it and a little bit more optimism perhaps. But it's also, Battle for the Sun is also the sound of a band sort of rediscovering itself and feeling, relishing the opportunity to be creatively unself-conscious again. Because when personal relationships break down within a band, especially within a three-piece, you know, if things aren't really sort of going right, you don't really want to create with these people. So just the freedom that we felt, and the fact that we felt that we had we had a future, because our future was unclear for a while. Probably that, you know, that enthusiasm probably and optimism made its way onto the record too.
Yeah. Were there times during Meds where you thought this could be the last Placebo album?
No, not really. I mean, we kind of hung on for dear life during the Meds period. Really, and we didn't really sort of make the difficult decision of kind of parting ways with Steve Hewitt until the very, 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 very last minute, you know, until we really felt that we'd sort of exhausted everything, that it's sort of, you know, we'd gone beyond the point of no return, really, sort of, as people, essentially. What we were aware of is that we didn't really, we knew that we didn't want to continue as we were. What form? Yeah, it was impossible. What form that was going to take was unclear. You know, from you know, I suppose the opportunity to be sort of the goth Pet Shop Boys was there, but we chose not to go down that avenue. You know, and sort of remain a three-piece band. But I think Steph and I felt we'd sort of, having started writing songs together in 1994, and this basically being our lives since we were in our you know, early 20s, that we'd invested way too much in the band to walk away from it, and we felt we hadn't really sort of done our best just yet.
Yeah.
So, you know, giving it up was never really an option. Since we were kind of coming to the end of our deal with Virgin and everything, it seemed like the right time to kind of really sort of create a future which felt better than that present.
Yeah.
You know.
So it sounds like you've made a completely fresh start.
Yeah, I mean that's what it feels.
Yeah.
We feel rejuvenated and we feel like it's a new beginning, and you know we call it Placebo Mark III.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Excellent.
Like a number
So
two.
how's your first sort of Placebo album experience?
It's really wonderful, you know. I mean, like them, just sort of coming from a really nasty sort of bit, it was really good for me to kind of work with people who I enjoyed working with and who I enjoyed being around. And coming into this band has been a really wonderful experience for me. You know, there's a lot of new experiences, and there's a lot more to come, as you know, in the next couple of years. But it's been a really big learning experience, and I've been enjoying every second of it. And they're really lovely people to be around, and they help me out. You know, they kind of look after me and show me the ropes in a lot of ways, and take the piss out of me in a lot of ways, and you know, love me in a lot of ways.
It's like having your younger brother in the band.
Yeah.
You love him, but you get to tease him a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And play practical jokes and pranks.
Was there any hazing initiation?
Oh yeah.
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 Still is. Even today.
Yeah.
When we play together, it's just like, it's for me personally, man, it's God, it feels so good. So it's worth it, you know. It's just when we play together, it's like, you know, it finally feels right for me. It finally feels like I've joined some people that feels right. And you're gonna say something to take the piss.
Having been through, you know, a tempestuous and you know, tormenting time in the past, you know, within the band, it was very important for us that we chose the right person in terms of kind of personality and attitude and, you know, desire and ambition and all of these things. So it was more kind of about meeting up with Steve and flying Steve over from California and hanging out with him here was more about sort of trying to make the decision of like, do we want to travel the world in each other's pockets for the next 2 years, 10 years with this guy,
Yeah.
you know, kind of thing.
So you'll be releasing a single a week before the album, For What It's Worth, and it features a cover of Nick Kershaw's Wouldn't It Be Good?
Yeah.
What prompted covering such an 80s classic?
Well, you know, we kind of plundered the 80s for cover versions, you know, kind
Yeah.
of because we sort of grew up in the 80s. So, and that one always kind of stuck in my head from being a kid, because I think it was so nihilistic and so kind of, it's like the ramblings of a man who's really, you know, on the edge at the end of his tether. But it's wrapped up in the original in this kind of really sort of 80s production with saxophones
Yeah.
and everything. And it's so cheesy,
Mhm.
yeah, and it was this kind of worldwide hit, and I think it was just kind of the negativity within the song was kind of the desperation was really attractive about that one.
Yeah.
And so I mean it's got a great hook to it, and it was this,
Light and dark.
how do we make it ours?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many shows? Because you played in Far East, I can't
We've
remember.
done one concert in Cambodia.
Yeah.
That was sort of a really unique night where we kind of rearranged all our songs in a completely different way to sort of satisfy the needs of what was going on there. So that was a real unique performance, and we're actually releasing that. You know, it's gonna come out in a sort of the deluxe box set of our album.
Was it shot in front of a temple?
Yes,
Yes.
it's shot in front of his 12th century Buddhist temple, which is a UNESCO World Heritage protected site.
Right.
You know, it's basically one of the wonders of the world. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And so we've done that, and we've done like one TV show and one showcase. You know, and that's about it. Really.
No, like proper gig.
Right.
Yes. So.
So there's nothing but Placebo songs on your iPod at the minute.
I don't actually own an iPod, but even if I did, it wouldn't be the new stuff, it'd be the old stuff.
Yeah.
But anything, just kind of get myself really familiar with it. But yeah, I suppose I've been It's hard for me. I can't really listen to a lot of Placebo because I start getting too excited and I can't really sleep at night because I start really kind of imagining myself like a gig.
Yeah.
So.
Oh God.
Yeah. At least one of us is excited about it. Like, come on, don't kill it for me.